What?
Subscribe.
Subscribe. We'll highlight all that. Don't you worry.
I'm just
But of
saying,
course,
you gotta remind people.
Subscribe right now.
Subscribe.
subscribe. Of course.
Philadelphia, baby, you're gonna love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
Knicks are rolling right now. It's 36-28. I can't complain about that, honestly, after one quarter. They're up like 13, like 18 to like 6 at one point.
I don't want to hear nothing about no bing bong because the Sixers tonight, as we record this on Monday, went ping pong top 3, baby.
We got to open the show quick with how rigged the NBA lottery is. I like
disgusting.
Trade Luka Doncic to the Lakers and we'll get you Cooper Flag. Like
how Nico Harrison, I will see you in hell.
Nico Harrison deserves a medal for how much he swindled the NBA.
He should
traded
be
Luka for a bag of chips, and then gets the best player to enter the sport probably since LeBron, at least the most hyped player. The most hyped player.
I think the most hyped player was Zion. Zion had a lot of hype around him.
You think Wemby too, maybe?
Yes, Wemby.
I just feel like Cooper Flag finds himself in a very interesting situation compared to everyone else, right? Like Zion's whole thing was like there have been very different iterations. Like LeBron was the chosen one. We knew that already, right? Like Kyrie played his like 12 games at Duke and then went to the NBA and he was the number 1 overall pick and we knew how good he'd be. Zion, I feel like his big thing was he's great, but he was a one-dimensional player for the most part. He was a very inside game guy. He couldn't trust the floor. He was just like Dunk City. He was Blake Griffin on crack.
And I also think a lot of it was the product of the team that was able to draft him at number 1 overall, but Derrick Rose had a lot of hype. But yes. I think it was also coupled with the Chicago kid got to go to Chicago, and it was very like LeBron got to go to Cleveland.
Yeah. And like Wembanyama, I think is also intriguing because like first of all, he's a unicorn. He's 7'6". He can do everything. He can play the point guard. He can play the 3, the 5, the 4, wherever you need him. Cooper Flag is like he's kind of the prototypical can do everything. Played for a really good team, and now like let's see what he can do. And he's like the pride of Maine. He's the like one of 2 players in NBA history to come from the state of Maine. Like it's a very interesting situation, and maybe he doesn't have the hype of LeBron or Wemby or Zion, but he certainly has the skill to be the best player since LeBron to enter the league as the number 1 consensus overall pick. But the fact that the Mavs land them, the fact that the Spurs land a top 5 pick, I get the premise of the lottery. I understand the idea that we try and avoid tanking. We try and get teams all on equal footing. But you need to push it back to 25% and do it for the top 3 teams.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason 1.8% should be getting pulled from that pile at all.
It's the 4th lowest odds to ever win the lottery in NBA history at 1.8%.
This is legitimately Patrick Ewing to the Knicks all over again.
Nico Harrison should be fired before the draft. He does not deserve to make that pick.
No, I agree with you. And it's almost funny, actually, what actually might be happening.
That is American sports washing.
I have a crazy predicament, right? Or idea that might happen. What if, because we already know that Nico Harrison traded away Luka because there's this whole rumor and things going on about the cabal that's running the Dallas Mavericks wants to put a casino and they got denied it and everything. So they want to move the team. What if they trade the 1st overall pick?
I mean,
what if they say we are going to literally sink ourselves under everything? We'll get all the picks finally.
Joe Delara, he covers the NBA for Action Network. He tweeted, "Going to be legendary when Nico trades the number 1 pick because it doesn't fit the timeline."
Yeah, no, that I'm convinced that's going to happen. It's either A, it's rigged because they got the 1st overall pick, or alternatively, it's rigged because they got the 1st overall pick. They're going to trade Cooper Flag to whoever wants them, and then they're going to have 12 years of draft picks for when they move the team to Vegas, and they can start their rebuild, and they can have a casino, and they can do whatever it is that the ownership group in Dallas wants to do. Maybe, you know what, with all the picks, they'll finally get a TGL team down in Dallas.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm just happy that the Sixers kept their pick, got a top 3 pick, and we have officially more than won the Al Horford trade. Suck it, OKC.
My friend said something about OKC, and I was like, what are you talking about? I didn't realize that was the bit.
Yeah, it was that trade was in 2020. It was right when Daryl Morey came in as the GM of this, or president of basketball operations, and traded Al Horford and a lightly protected first-round pick to OKC for Danny Green.
Absolutely insane.
And the lightly protected first-round pick was this year's. It was top 6 protected. And then the prophecy continues as the ultimate NBA tanking team has an off year during what is supposed to be a prime window. And then we end up with a top 3 pick, and we're more than likely going to end up with Ace Bailey.
Honestly, a good pick, and it makes sense for the area too.
It makes sense for that, and it makes sense for positionally what the Sixers already have with Tyrese Maxey and Jared McCain. And you have Adam Bona that you drafted last year.
Yep.
You have Justin Edwards that came in and showcased that he's an absolute hooper. They got a nice little young core, and hopefully Joel is able to get healthy to some degree and still contribute on this team. And you add Ace Bailey to that, and that's a lot of fun.
Well, hey, the last time the Sixers had the 3rd overall pick, look what happened.
Yeah, I also tweeted that in jest because obviously the year right after that, they drafted Jahlil Okafor. But we all know how that played out.
Yeah, you know what? We all make mistakes. Anthony Bennett happened. Darko Milicic happened.
Anthony Bennett was not a mistake. That was purposeful.
Was it?
I think it was purposeful. That's one of my long-standing sports
It's a bad mistake.
conspiracies was they did that to then trade him to get Kevin Love.
But like, why not get somebody who was actually good and then trade him away?
Because they had to be
Like
bad
did with
again
Wiggins.
because they got Wiggins the following year.
And then they traded Wiggins.
Right.
Like,
So they had to be bad to get Wiggins in order to get the guy they wanted.
fair. Yeah, no, it's the NBA lottery. They got to bump up the top 3 teams to about 25%. They got to basically make it impossible for teams that are even in that like back half. Like, or alternatively, you should do 2 separate lotteries. The top 5 worst teams to get their own bucket, and they get predetermined 1 through 5, and then everybody else. Because this is ridiculous that the Mavs come out on top in this situation. But we got a lot to get to, guys. Welcome in to Get in the Hole here. Ethan taking a bit of a break. He had a long ride home on the Amtrak back to Boston, so he's currently asleep as the Knicks have chopped it down to 4 points against the Boston Celtics. So hopefully I'm gonna bing bong Ethan when he wakes up tomorrow. We'll see how that one goes. But KB here with Steve-O. How we doing? Big week this past week at the Truist Championship. Probably had one of the best times of our life. God, is it exhausting to cover a PGA Tour event? You don't even realize it. We were there. I was there since Wednesday. You came up Wednesday night. It was to say the very least, it was a lot. A lot of emotions, a lot of weather changes, a lot of various things to do over the week, but we came out stronger at the end of the day.
And I mean, 10 out of 10 don't recommend having to go cover a Premier Lacrosse League draft at ESPN HQ, followed by covering a 4-day golf event. Now, I'm not saying either of those. It was a blast of a lifetime to cover both of them. But the fact that they happened in subsequent days was not ideal in terms of life scheduling. 22 and a half hours awake Tuesday into Wednesday was some of the most sicko mode shit I've ever done in my life. And then I've covered PLL events. I've covered games, events, everything like, multiple day type things. Genuinely, I'm gonna physically do it. This is for the YouTube people. Tip of the cap to anybody who covers golf on a week in and week out basis that travels, especially the photographers and videographers and stuff like that. I have so much goddamn respect for you because I was so tired. And like I slept well 3 out of the 4 nights we were there. But the amount of moving around, walking in the sun, the rain is an exhausting weather element in and of itself for different reasons. And just the long days and early wake up calls, like, whew, it was a grind. And
Yeah.
I joked that my PLL weekend's upcoming because in 2 weeks I'll be back out on the road. My PLL weekends are going to feel like a breeze because it's only 2 days. And I was like, wow, this is going to be awesome.
Yeah, dude. Like the
4 days is
schedule-
a grind.
Not only that too, but like, and you talk about the videographers and photographers. I'm talking to Todd Lewis, who's one of the lead commentary guys that does the post round interviews with all the big names. And he's like, yeah, I got a red eye flight to Charlotte tomorrow. And I'm like, oh God, like when are you going? He's like 6:30 in the morning. And he was saying how he had like family in New Jersey who wanted to come visit. He's like, I'm not gonna go see them. Like I'd have to go all the way to like an hour and a half into Jersey, come back, 6:30 a.m. flight, only to end up in Charlotte today, and it's absolutely freaking pouring. It has been a horrible day. I was talking to Austin Hill, the associate pro with Quail Hollow. In setup, they have 5.5 inches of rain today that they were not ready for. At this point, he's like, we're probably gonna have to install like sewer grates on the greens to just try and clear it off. Apparently that like they have maintenance guys trying to squeegee the greens. They legitimately cannot do anything right now. So we'll talk more about what's going to happen at Quail later down in Charlotte. But yeah, the travel and the overall work, like you don't realize, like we understand. Yeah, you go to California, you go to Texas, you go to Florida, and you have those swings. But you begin the year in Hawaii. You go from one island to another island. Then you go to San Diego. You're there for 2 weeks. You go 2 hours north to Pebble, and I don't think there's really an airport even really out there. So you got to travel that way. Then you go to Arizona. Then you go back to San Diego. Then you go to Mexico, and then you go to Florida, and you go from Palm Beach, Florida, to Orlando, Florida, to Jacksonville. Then you go back down to Tampa. Then you go to Texas, and you're in Texas and Houston. Then to San Antonio. Then you go to Georgia. Then it's South Carolina. Like the traveling back and forth, and even in the next few weeks, right? Think of it this way: they go from Dallas, Texas, or actually even before that, right? From Louisiana, from Avondale, which is around New Orleans, to Dallas, to Pennsylvania, in Philly, down to Quail Hollow and Charlotte, back to Fort Worth, Texas, and then they got to go up to Ohio for the Memorial. Then go to Canada for the RBC, and then back to Pennsylvania for Oakmont. Like the travel up and down and sideways. I'm telling Kay, I'm like, it's crazy how, like, as a married man, how there are people in this industry who manage to maintain their relationship with their husbands and wives and are constantly in motion, going to every which stop. So I give these people a lot of credit. But for 4 days,
I'm single, and it was a lot.
Like
now, granted, I think a lot of it was multiplied because I was at an event
exhausted
prior to that as well. But 4 days is a lot. Like,
yeah,
and we were talking about it, like what we would do in a future event and everything. And I was like, well, like, we were out on the course all 4 days doing stuff, like doing different types of content and everything. And I think a lot of golf media, as we saw, are more so the traditional Big J Journo style of, media.
yeah,
And then you have your photographers. And then genuinely, I think we were the only new media, digital media people there who capitalize on digital first, social media first. So there was a lot of benefit for us to be on the course all 4 days, because we were like, would we do Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday again? And we were like debating, and I was like, you know what? There's so much that you can take in for what we do on those days. I would say yes. Thursday, I think you kind of show up when you do and see who's, out and about doing their thing. Friday, you assess where guys are. And then I think from that, you kind of like focus and pinpoint on the guys you think will provide the best content for us.
Exactly.
And then the weekend in a traditional field, there's cuts, so you're going to get cut down to then, and then you kind of have to reassess on that Saturday. But with this being a signature event, it's like you get to go out every day and see these guys. Like, you take advantage of that.
What makes it interesting, right? So obviously, Ethan and I ended up on Wednesday going out, and you're right. Like there were the folks who worked for PGA Tour or Golf Digest who didn't leave the media center, and they would literally. And to me, I find this like crazy. A lot of them show up, they sit in the media center, they wait until the top 5 guys come into the flash area. And that's the only hour they spend outside of the media center. But at the same time, you can also get everything through their content hub and everything else. So, like, why would you even bother showing up? Like, you could very well work remote and cover golf and just watch on TV or watch on the PGA Tour provided, like, live stream that you can get. So, I understand the photographers and the videographers and everything else. Like Sean Martin, who's head of editorial for the tour. You saw him with a lot of the leaders. But like for the most part, you're right. Like we were the only people, with the exception of, I think like NBC Sports Philadelphia showed up in the last couple of hours to interview a few guys
because they're doing their Sunday hits and everything.
Yeah, but they're doing Sunday, right? I'm out at the flash area on Friday and Saturday. No one's there. I'm getting to chat with the guys who maybe you don't necessarily want to talk to, but if you have something in mind that you want to just like chat about, and they're more than happy to talk, right? Like Dan Berger is talking to the nice reporter who, by the way, this
name was John Marks.
Yeah, John Marks of I forget what I know.
I'm gonna look it up.
It was a Jewish media outlet because he was only there to interview Dan Berger and Max Homa. But first of all, that guy was amazing. Literally writing down his notes on paper.
Left-handed.
Like I was
no
so
recording
awestruck.
device.
None.
I also was laughing. I was telling my dad this because I told him that whole situation. I was laughing that every time Dan Berger answered a question, he just looked over to us and was laughing the entire time.
Like he was so unserious, but also like that's what makes Daniel Berger like a fun guy. Honestly, I didn't even know that about him. Like some guys on tour, like you hear things about him. Like I was talking to John today, and he was like, "Oh, like saw you talk to Keegan. Like how is he? I hear he's an asshole." And I'm like, "No, he's a good guy. It's just you don't want to catch him when he's 4 over par. Like he'll want to fucking tomahawk your head off."
So he wrote for the Philadelphia Jewish Exponent.
Incredible, absolutely incredible. But like, so yeah, there are guys who don't want to talk to the media, and like Akshay shot 4 over on Sunday. He didn't want to talk to anybody. He kind of bounced out. Shane Lowry actually had a very similar thing. And we could talk more about this in a bit, but Shane totally just dodged the media, dodged the fans. He literally got up and left. And Max Schreiber comes over to me and is like, "Oh, I want to get a quote from Shane." And I'm like, "Oh no, he left." He's like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, he literally walked out of scoring. He waved to his caddy and ducked around the back way. And so the fans couldn't even like get a hold of him, couldn't even see him. So he totally just dipped. He was distraught about his Sunday. But yeah, like to be able to talk to guys like Ricky Fowler and Max Homa, Daniel Berger, we got a chance to chat with Andrew Novak, awesome guy, by the way. Like we were the only people there.
Did you know Andrew Novak has an NFL/fantasy football podcast that he hosts? I discovered this when we posted the clip. He has it in his Instagram bio. And it's an active show. Like they posted a clip like 2 days ago.
I think what makes Andrew Novak like America's player that no one really even knows about yet. He also only has like 3,000 followers on Twitter.
He someone tweeted him. Someone tweeted him a Wofford like window sticker on their car, and it was like, "We're headed to God's country." And then he was like, "That's good people right there."
I'm gonna reach out to the PGA Tour folks and get Andrew Novak on this show, and he's officially gonna be my guy. By the way, the only player on the PGA Tour to have 3 top 5s this year. Actually, now joined by Sepp Straka, but
we need every guy that we talked to this week. They were all And there were some guys that I wasn't sure how they were going to be because
Yeah,
of
I mean,
either how they shot or just like how they come across
yeah,
in just like TV hits or the media or anything. Like Keegan Bradley comes off as somebody who's very like coarse and very like
yeah.
shell up, armor up, kind of like got that guard up all the time. He was so nice. I was floored.
You know what though? Like, and
that was like my thought process because he didn't shoot well on Sunday.
yeah, he shot one over.
Coupled with like he just has like kind of this like guard up kind of demeanor about him from everything you like see about him. He's got like the weight of being Captain America on his shoulders and stuff like that. I didn't really know what to expect from him in that moment. We saw him out on Saturday. You know, he misses a drive and he slams his club into the ground.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to expect, but genuinely my whole perception about Keegan Bradley changed in the moment that he talked to us because he was genuinely so goddamn nice and like just very like willing and open, and it changed my perspective about him a ton. Not that I didn't like Keegan, I just didn't know what to expect from him because he comes off with like kind of that stoicism about him, rightfully so. Like, you're the captain of fucking Team USA on the Ryder Cup team, like you deserve to have that kind of demeanor about you. But he was so nice. Like, he's somebody I would like sit back and watch sports with.
Like I had that moment with a lot of guys. Like, I know going in, like Ricky, really nice guy.
Oh my God. I can die happy.
He's so genuine.
I shook Ricky's hand. I can die happy, Steve. 11-year-old me was doing backflips.
Max Homa, who played like absolute dog shit,
nice.
and was not afraid to tell me, yeah, I played the fucking dog shit. I turn to Max and I go, hey, so like this is like your third straight week being able to play on Sunday. Obviously no cut this week, but you still managed to finish top 40. How does that make you feel? And he's like, well, yeah, I feel good about the game, but the game hasn't done dick for me. And I'm like, well, you bounced back after 5 missed cuts. He goes, yeah, but you know what? I'm still so far away, but I'm just glad that I can make some money. And I'm like, you know what? I appreciate the answer. I appreciate the honesty and the approach to it. Someone else who I thought was a great interview that I mentioned, Dan Berger, who was tremendous. Wasn't expecting a really like well thought out answer, was actually Patrick Cantlay. He comes off as this finance bro with his Apollo hat and what used to be like Marcus Goldman Sachs, and he just kind of he rubs you like regular SpongeBob. And then when you like get to talk to him and you get to actually like sit there and you hear him speak, and it's like, all right, yeah, like he's just a chill guy, and he'll give you the answers. He might not necessarily dig too deep, but he's not afraid to answer your question and actually give you answers. With that being said, also, and it happened twice, the common thread that we went through with all these guys was talking about, hey, like what would the tour benefit from a permanent stop in Philadelphia? First of all, Max Homa said there absolutely should be. There's no reason why there shouldn't be. Berger said it was fun. Keegan said, hey, we got to come up more to the Northeast, and then that's not even a biased thing. Cam Young
said it.
Ricky said it. Cam Young said the same thing.
Tony Finau said it to John Clark. I was like kind of like eavesdropping on the hit he was doing for NBC Sports Philadelphia. Tony Finau said the same thing, and I mean, he's apparently family friends with Jordan Mailata, so like that makes a lot of sense.
I mean, they are both Samoans, so I guess it makes sense.
That's what I think the connection is, and like that was really cool to see. I mean, like how excited Jordan was for Tony too. That was really cool.
Yeah, and also, by the way, I'm talking to Max. How Tony Finau's wife brings all 5 of their children to every single event. That is like a touring circus, and those kids aren't that old. Like, I think the oldest child might be his first son or daughter, who's probably no older than 16, 17, maybe. Probably even a little bit younger. Like they have a newborn child. Like that's a crew to be flying out every which way across the country.
Half the people in the picture too were Jordan's wife,
and their child.
Somebody else, and yeah.
So like, Jordan's family. But like Tony, I believe, is a father of 5. Or no, actually, mother. They had on the broadcast. It said Tony Finau's wife, her first name, and then it said 6-time mom. And I'm like, that's actually the funniest thing they could have done on the broadcast. So yeah, like he's a father of 6, and they all come out to every single event, and They travel well. But back to what I was saying, like all these guys were talking about how they want to get an event in the Northeast. I mean, Xander gave me back-to-back answers of, oh yeah, well if it works, and I understand that. I understand the idea that it's a shorter season up here in the Northeast. A lot of the clubs are private. It's very challenging to necessarily get a hold of some of these places. Like the membership doesn't want to give up their spot for a week, 2 weeks. I mean, PCC, the people were honored to be able to give up their golf course for a week and a half. But like, I understand the people at Shinnecock and Winged Foot not necessarily being in that sort of mindset all the time to have a traditional spot. And I don't even think that there should be an event every single year at a Winged Foot or a Shinnecock or even like a Ronnebank or a Marion. I think, or like Oakmont, those are the places that you want to go to majors. But to go to like TPC Boston or Liberty National, right? They have the Mizuho this week. Why can't they host? They used to have the Northern Trust up there. Ridgewood Country Club is another spot they used to have the Barclays at. So there's a lot of courses up here that make sense to have a traditional spot. New Jersey, Massachusetts, Connecticut, and then Eastern Pennsylvania, even upstate New York. You can go to the Binghamton area. You can go a little bit upstate. I mean, one of the courses that's been vying for a tour has been Yale Golf Club, one of the top 100 courses in the world. Like, why not go to Yale?
I mean, Max brought up a great point. He tweeted this last night when he was leaving. He said, after some thinking driving home from Philly to North Jersey, Philadelphia Cricket Club should return regardless of rollback, and it doesn't have to be for the Truist either. He said BMW Championship likely a spot on schedule for it, but there needs to be more events in the Northeast.
Yeah, like what I realized about this golf course too, that can't go understated, right? Dan Rappaport said it. He said the winner of this event's going to win by $1 million, and I said the winner is going to be probably like 17, 18 under par. I was a little bit off, but after day one, right? Like the course record there was a 65, and I think 15 players broke that record. Keith Mitchell obviously shot a 9 under 61, but that's almost like understandable considering he's the Michael Jordan of Thursdays. But the fact that they absolutely mowed down this golf course on day one shows that, you know what, like a 7,100-yard golf course is going to be really easy to play when the bunkers are not made. Like, they can't just push the bunkers back, right? But immediately you realized on Friday with the heavy rain, all of a sudden, and I always refer back to the video of Phil Mickelson talking about how challenging conditions are when it's wet, when it's dry, when you're dealing with wind, like all these different things. And Joey even said it in our interview a few weeks back. He was like, the wind is supposed to pick up Saturday, Sunday. That's going to be a really big factor. We saw a drive by, I want to say it was Keegan Bradley, that started out perfectly on line, laced down the right side of the 18th fairway, and it cut all the way out. Shane Lowry's tee shot on 18 hit off of the hospitality tent because granted it started out left the whole way, but like that was all wind. We had 25-mile-an-hour gusts all the way up there. You didn't feel it on the ground, but that's also the beauty of golf, right? You can't necessarily predict things. And I remember when I was caddying with Ben, one of the things he mentioned to me, I'm like, oh, it's like a 8-mile-an-hour wind on the ground. He's like, yeah, but it's 16 gusts all the way up. So we always keep track of that number. And I'm like, oh, actually, that's really interesting. I've never thought about that. So like the course showed its teeth. And when we go to courses like Marion in the future, that is even less than 7,000 yards, and you realize like these courses are brutes because of the conditions that you have to play in, not just when it's dry and warm out. Because naturally, when that happens, the ball's going to fly. Like now, we go to Quail Hollow this week. It's soaking wet from Monday through Wednesday. Super soft conditions. It's going to be a bomber's paradise because you need to be able to hit the ball really far in order to get a better club in. So with the rain, it forced guys to hit very different clubs. Cam Young said on, I think it was the 5th hole, he shot 9-iron into the green on Thursday. On Friday, he shot like a 5, and he barely even got it there. So that right there was just condition number one with the rain. Then you go in with the wind. This golf course really is a very testy challenge, and I love the old school architecture, right? Like A.W. Tillinghast, he made Bethpage, he made Winged Foot. I've played those courses. I played courses out on Long Island that are all Tillinghast designs. This is where he grew up as an architect. Of course, PCC was his like crowning achievement as a member of the golf club. They literally spread his ashes in the creek up the 13th fairway. Like that right there just shows how much he really cared about this place and how historic it is. And Michael Mashberger, Bamberger, sorry, from golf.com was talking about it. He talked to Tom Doak, who played it, and he had a totally different thought on it than another writer and another athlete thought about it. So I think like that right there also shows you like you don't need to be strategic about a golf course to have to be able to enjoy it. And this course really did show its teeth, and it made for a really great show. And I think this should be an event that comes back. I think it's a great golf course. The style of it is awesome. I would love to see more events at other big time courses in Philadelphia, in New Jersey, northern New Jersey. Come to Long Island, go to Boston, stay in the Connecticut area. There's a ton of places that you can go. And you know what? Leverage the municipal golf course. Because you talk about how private clubs, it's hard to get out the membership. Bethpage, I'm sure the fans would be enamored because it's a municipal golf course to be able to give it away. Yeah, there's going to be people who complain because tee boxes are moving around and stuff. But like, what's 1.5 weeks that you can't play the black? Like there are multiple other courses across Long Island that you could play in that moment. Go play that. Yeah.
And here's my thing too, like, just in terms of like Philadelphia Cricket Club potentially coming back, because on top of just like the course being really cool, like the way that they were able to like turn it into a mini like city,
Yeah,
that had so much walkability, so many places to go. Like it was like an old Western town in and of itself. It was very cool to set up. Like you can utilize that. Now you know it's possible. Like I don't know. It felt like every day we were there. Like, sure, Saturday and Sunday it was like more people were out on the course than they were walking the confines of,
yeah,
the hospitality areas and stuff like that. But like Joey told us, like they sold out Saturday and Sunday. Friday in the rain felt like the most packed it was the entire weekend. It was crazy.
Yeah.
We were walking shoulder to shoulder with people and it was downpouring. And like number one, that shows you Philadelphia cares about sports just in general. It doesn't matter what sport it is.
That was known now.
They will show out.
Yeah.
Number two, you're meaning to tell me a bunch of the members of the Philadelphia Cricket Club were not in attendance for this weekend as part of this? Like, I think if you're going to bring something as big, bodacious, and like an event like that to a place like the Cricket Club, the members, sure, while they'll miss out on golf, I think everyone who attended that was a member enjoyed seeing their golf club taken over by the best of the best. And it's like, hey, I get to play here, and now I can brag that Sepp Straka won on my home course.
Yep.
I can brag that Rory McIlroy went around and was in contention for most of a weekend at my course. I get to play week in and week out, day in and day out at the same course as a guy who won a career Grand Slam. Like that to me, from like golf fans, that's something that you put in your back pocket, and that's like a bragging right.
And also what I love too, and this is something that I have been planning for a long time, and I'm going to try and do it at the Ryder Cup. And I know TPC Scottsdale does this, right? You can play, they put up the hospitality 2.5 weeks roughly before the week, and they like test feasibility and everything else. Now you can play the golf course 2.5 weeks before the waste management, and you could play Bethpage not before, but you could play it after. Like, and you could play it with the hospitality up, and the conditions are the same as what these guys are going to play. So to be able to say, you know what, like, who's to say the people at PCC weren't teeing it up today, right? And getting to experience the golf course and say, hey, wow, I'm playing PGA Tour conditions. Yeah, my golf club is really good, and the conditions are always great, but now they're firm and fast. It's a hot Monday, like after two days of no rain. Like, that's what you want to talk about. Like, hey, I'm standing in the place that Sepp Straka hit the winning putt, or that someone had a sick approach shot off the side, or where Siwoo Kim had a sick bunker shot to make eagle on 15 that we saw on Friday. That's what people want to see, and how people want to enjoy it. And like, I walked through Bethpage, right, even as a caddy, and you walk and you're like you could feel like the ghosts of Tiger Woods and all these people, Brooks Koepka winning the PGA and the US Open. Like you could feel them in the like walking by you almost. And you're just experiencing it like for one time. That's how I feel anybody wants to feel when they get to have their event. And of course, yeah, the members were probably volunteering or taking in the event in some way, shape, or form. It was an unbelievable experience. It was a great time. I loved every second of it and being able to experience it, and also to finally get to envelop myself in content and follow the event where I typically can't do that because I have a life, and I have work Thursday and Friday, but also I don't have access to a PGA Tour live stream of the event that gets rid of the ad blockers and coverage doesn't start at 3:00. I could watch every single shot from the media room, and they have the scoreboard in the media room that you could see how everyone's doing, even when they're not necessarily playing. That really added to the experience that I wish every fan had the chance to be able to say.
Yeah, I mean, it was, you grow up watching golf, whether you're a fan or, typically like a mom or dad gets you into it. And like, I jokingly say like I can die happy because I shook Ricky Fowler's hand, but like I've been a fan of Ricky Fowler since I was like 10 years old because he was the young guy on tour. He looked like me, long hair, vibrant colors, skater boy type of look. And I was within centimeters of him. I was within inches of Rory McIlroy signing autographs for hundreds and hundreds of people, and was like, that was also in my brain too when we were like out there. Like the big J journos don't care about that. I can go and get a 1 minute and 12-second clip of Rory McIlroy signing autographs for kids in the Philadelphia area, and that's content, but it's also a story in and of itself that nobody has the wherewithal to even write about.
There are two outlets that actually care about that, and it's the PGA Tour for their own promotional, and then us because we can actually like understand that stuff, and that's why I love what we do and being able to do content. And I hope the next time we have an event, or even like for example, right, we have the chance to possibly go and do the shop right for the LPGA or the Travelers in Connecticut. If we had a team of 5 or 6 people all spread out across the golf course, multiple people shooting things and following groups and tweeting, like that's what really adds to the value. And you're right. I feel like the big J journos who were just in the flash area and they were in the media center and there were the videographers and photographers who were editing their videos. And Dan Rappaport's one pro shop guy who was literally just at the course and editing his shows and everything else that he was doing for the Creator Classic. Like we actually got to be boots on the ground and like enjoy it. And that's what that's what makes our job so cool, to be able to say, hey, like I got to follow Tony Finau for a few holes, or I interviewed, not only did I interview all these great people that I've looked up to and I've been wanting to talk to my entire life, but I don't know, you kind of like you have like a geek out kid moment, and I'm not afraid to say that because even though we're members of the media and we talk about how like at the end of the day they're all just average dudes, like Tommy Fleetwood approached you and was like, hey, how are you?
That was one of the coolest things ever. Like Tommy Fleetwood doesn't know me from next Tuesday, and I'm just walking by and I like smile at him because it's like, cool, you're Tommy Fleetwood. And he's like, how's it going, man? And I was like, what the fuck? Like it was the coolest shit ever. And like I'm the same way as you. Like I've gotten the opportunity to be around a lot of awesome athletes, and this is the first time I've been around golfers. But like you see them on TV, whether you're watching a major or whatever, like at the end of the day, yes, they're dudes. And like that, I think, is where the little kid fandom comes in as well. And I've learned that covering lacrosse a lot too, is like you're around these guys and you feel that way because you're relating to them as humans. You remove the athlete aspect so much from it when you're around them. And I think that's why I am a champion of who cares if the media is rooting for people. Yeah. Like we're fans at the end of the day. We want to see 100 guys in this field do well because we know they're great dudes. Yeah. And I think that's where the old school and the old guard of media lose the plot of people like us having a rooting interest, quote unquote, for teams, players, coaches, whatever it may be. it's not that like necessarily we're always rooting for a team or a guy. We're rooting for the person because they've showcased to us one way or another. At the end of the day, we're just human, and they're talking to us like we're just human, and it's a respect thing.
And not for nothing too, right? You should be allowed as a member of the media to have your fandom, right? I will always be a Knicks fan. I'll always be a Mets fan. If I am at something and, like, for example, right, like Mike Breen is a New York Knicks fan, telling me Mike Breen, when he yells bang when Jalen Brunson hits a clutch-ass shot, there isn't emotion in that because he's a fan. Yeah, but he's also doing his job. He has to be he has that moment where he's allowed to be a fan while maintaining what's the word I'm looking for? Like parity for both sides. Joe Davis, same thing. Mets, Dodgers. He covers the Dodgers. He's a Dodgers fan. He's gonna be on both sides of the fence. I hate when guys show that when they're commentating stuff. But like if you're a beat writer, dude, and you're just covering anything, I had some guys looking at me because I'm actively rooting for Shane Lowry. Like, who cares?
75% of the course was rooting for Shane Lowry.
Yeah, like Max was rooting for JT, but like he didn't want to talk about it. I'm like, dude, like it's whatever. It's and golf is different because it is individualized, and you like a bunch of different people. Like, look, if I had pick of the litter, right? My top 5 players, if I can root for them every single week, it would be Shane Lowry, Rory McIlroy, Justin Thomas, Tony Finau, and Ricky Fowler. Like that's off the bat. Ashibatia too. Like, what I would do to have these guys top leaderboard, I would root every single week for Tommy Fleetwood to win an event. When will he do it? Hopefully this week. But like, why can't we have fandom? And I loved just being able to chat with these guys. I saw Akshay Bhatia walking on the range, TrackMan in one hand and his iron in the other. I go, good luck, brother. He daps me up and is like, thanks, brother. I'm like, this guy's also, he's 26 years old. He's just a fucking kid. Like, it isn't like I'm approaching a 40-year-old Justin Rose or Shane Lowry, and I'm like, hey, man, good luck. Like, they've been here before. Adam Scott also gave me the dirtiest look because I was trying to video him. That's the kind of guy who doesn't give a fuck about who I am. But it's the other guys out there who are young and care and just like are happy to be there.
And even with Shane, I think like if you went up to him and said good luck, like he's the personable type that would like appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, look, like Dan Rappaport, granted, he has a rapport with Shane Lowry.
He has a rapport.
Dan on Wednesday calls. He walks over to Shane. He goes, "Hey, Shane, what's going on?" He gives him a handshake. He goes, "I have a question for you," and I'm standing by them, and he's like, "Yeah, what's up?" And he's like, "I know like you're a big soccer fan, and you listen to the podcast or TV show Stick to Football." And he goes, I think you would be a great golf commentator. And he goes, I'd be a much better pundit if I got to be unfiltered on a podcast. He goes, all right, let's start Stick to Golf. And that it'll be Rappaport, it'll be Shane Lowry, and they'll get like a Gary Neville on to do the rest. And they're just talking about soccer and going back and forth and shooting the shit like just an average dude. I wanted to ask Keegan Bradley more than anything else on earth, and I was too afraid he was going to bash my skull in about how he felt about St. John's getting all these transfers. Like, I know he's a basketball fan. He went to the school. Like, that's his vibe. But like, we ended the interview, and I'm like, I can't wait to see a Bethpage. And he goes, man, I'm so excited. Like, that right there was just like, he is hyped. He doesn't care if like he can lose and miss the cut in every event until September, but he gets to go home and go to Bethpage, and he's going to make an appearance at St. John's, and it's going to be a whole big to-do. And he's like, this is where I belong. And that's why I love just these guys being dudes. It was great.
I also wanted to get your perspective because obviously,
please,
I've gotten to do the media thing a ton for this company. Casey and Owen have gotten a chance to do it, with IndyCar a ton, and they've gone to F1 as fans. You've done it in college for basketball, hockey, and the like. What was your overall takeaway, perception of being credentialed media for a professional sport?
I mean, doing it in college, it didn't feel like it was anything crazy. I mean, I covered some great events. I covered the ECAC conference tournament. I covered the MAT tournament in basketball, and I covered the Connecticut Ice tournament in its first year when like they sold out the arena in Bridgeport. I think it was at the time the Webster Bank Arena. Like that was great to be able to shoot content and see people and meet people, but like you weren't talking to anybody like really huge. I think the biggest name that I talked to at the Connecticut Ice tournament was like Eamon McAnany, because he was covering it for SNY because they had nobody else, and he was a hockey fan. He said, you know what, I'll pull up. Also big last guy, as you know. Like, though outside of that, it was just kind of casual, but and I also knew the guys who I'm covering. I knew the basketball team. I knew the hockey players. So it was the same thing as if I was one of the top brass at a PGA Tour event, and I've been covering Ricky for 5 years, and we have a rapport, and we can just talk back and forth and do our thing. But again, I go back to how you and I were talking about. We benefited so heavily from shooting content and being on the ground, and you kind of felt like a fan for 4 days. While yes, you're doing a job and you get to almost be inside the ropes, and like it was different, but at the end of the day, it felt like a job at the end of the day too. And but you did get the opportunity to have fun and be relaxed, and I'm just happy to be a part of an organization where like it's halfway through the day and I'm like, I need a beer. And so I'll go and get a beer, and I'll just walk around and do my thing. No one's seeing me on camera. I'm not gonna hold my beer next to Ricky Fowler while I interview him. I'm a professional, but if I need to have a drink and relax, I can do that. And that's the nice part about being with Underground, is that we can actually like do those things. And I mean, like me and Ethan had a ball of a time. It was his first tournament, so he got to experience something very new, a very cool internship experience too.
Oh yeah, I mean for his age too to experience that, but like
just sick.
First golf event for me too. Like it was wild, and like it being in my backyard and knowing the passion of Philly sports fans and everything. I was expecting big things, but I didn't expect it to be as big as it was.
Yeah, like it's amazing because golf, while it is a niche sport, it's still so uniting. And even if you're not good at golf, you can still appreciate how good they are. And whether you're young or you're old, I saw people have toddlers who were enjoying the golf, 5-year-olds, all the way up to a bunch of 80-year-old men who were literally. I passed them probably 3 times on Wednesday for the practice round. All they did was sit at the putting green and watch guys putt, and all they did was talk about how their putting stroke looks, what they're doing. There were guys who were like hardcore golfers who wanted to like take a look and be like, hey, how can I improve my game, and watch what these guys do, and like putting off the mirror and having a towel down for accuracy reasons. Like all those different things just add another layer to what you can experience at a golf event. And I think what's cool is like, and it's sort of a crux, because this is the one part I don't love about golf, is when you're a beat writer and you're covering the PLL or the NHL, NBA, MLB, everything's right there in front of you. Golf, you're so spread out, you can miss so many things, and you can only be in so many places at once. Which is why I do love the idea of the media center being as accessible as it is. I wish the media center was actually really like in the middle of the golf course, because then you could literally get to anywhere really quickly, and it's not all behind the scenes. Also, I was saying this to you guys. It gives like Disney behind the wall kind of vibes. Like no one sees what happens behind the curtain, and like you walk behind the credentialed access media pass, and it's just all the trucks and the tour trucks and the broadcasting teams and all the staff for food and staff for volunteers, and then the media center. Like it's just very different, and like you kind of feel like you're in your own little like box, which is cool.
And it was like, you've seen those like leaderboards on TV and everything when they do like the cut to commercial shots, and everything. But seeing that in person was kind of surreal as well. Like
Yeah.
the giant leaderboard in the media center in front of you, seeing the different time zones on the Rolex clocks, no free shout outs, but seeing that in person was like the moment that you see like Magic Kingdom for the first time.
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
whoa, this is real.
Yeah,
This
like
isn't just a hologram.
and like not for nothing, right? Like I walk in halfway through Rory's interview on Wednesday morning, and I'm like, oh my god, it's Rory McIlroy. My heart raced so fucking hard just at the opportunity to ask Xander Schauffele a question for him to basically like be like, "Ha," and give me the worst answer of all time. But like, there is now a small corner of PGA Tour media where my voice is being heard, and I fucking hated listening back to my thing. I asked Patrick Cantlay 3 questions. I'm like, my voice sounds like shit. I hate this so much.
That's how you know you're in the right field, though. Is
Oh.
you hate hearing your voice.
Oh, it's absolutely brutal. I hated it so much. Max is like, oh yeah, there's an account that like reposted the interview with Cantlay because it was literally only me and him ask questions, and I go, oh, I hate hearing me speak.
That's
I sound like
so
a doofus.
funny. And I mean, it was cool. Like, we got our names out there. People were like, probably wondering who the hell we were. I got compliments on my fits, which was fantastic. I got a
leader for sure to the
leader in the clubhouse was fantastic. And I mean, like, it was just an overall sick event, like top to bottom, like everything that Joey told us on his 2 appearances on the pod and what we got from him at Media Day rang true and then some.
Yep.
Like the views that we got for all 4 days were just incredible. Like, we were talking about it with Carrie yesterday as we record this on Monday, but like Friday it's pouring down rain and we just get to sit in public seating, and watch these guys drive the ball down onto the green and then just watch them attack their putts while staying dry. Like, that was the ultimate perk.
And
then
that area got packed.
And then,
we dropped down for our donut review, and holy shit, they just poured in.
And then on top of that, like afterwards, like you have hole 15 teeing off, hole 18 teeing off, and you can just swap easily. And every view, like there was no bad view at the course.
And not to mention too, right? So we were by the 1854 lounge, which Joey had mentioned. You get a view of 14 tee and green. Technically the 4th tee because it shared it with the 14th tee. You get the 15 tee, 18 tee, 17 green. And we're going back and forth, 15 tee, 18 tee, seeing guys go back and forth. You also had 14 green, 20 paces the other way. So while you guys were watching everyone tee off on 15 and 18, I'm also covering the leaders, Lowry, Straka, Mitchell, and JT putting on 14, and it was tremendous. Like that was great. So everything about the tournament was fantastic. The trophy is incredible. Sepp Straka holding it looked like he was the new chapter president at at Georgia Beta, and it was just tremendous. And Sepp,
the merch is fire.
The merch is fire. The story around Sepp Straka, right? His brother was higher recruited than he was. He took a redshirt year his junior year because he had the yips. And someone tweeted out, is like, imagine going to a frat party and telling some girl that you took a redshirt year because you got the Y word. Like, oh my god.
The guy who brought that up in the press conference afterwards and just started his question. So just to make sure I'm clear on this, your brother was recruited higher than you, right? I was like, brother, what are we doing?
I also realized a lot of those people, because they're all writing, it's all for clarity things, like to confirm it that it isn't fake on like Wikipedia.
But it was so funny, like in an out of context situation, and this dude just won a signature event, and the first thing you're asking him is, so your brother was higher recruited than you, right?
Like,
I had to try so hard not to cackle because I was like, oh my god.
But like, so quick recap on the actual golf itself, right? 5 takeaways from the week that I think are really valuable. Keith Mitchell truly is the best Thursday golfer on earth. Also, he wears $1,000 golf fits from Sid
absurd.
Mashburn, which I saw his pants, and I'm like, oh, I want those pants. And I'm like, never in my entire life will I ever wear $400 pants. Justin Thomas had a great shot early in the week and just couldn't capitalize. Nor could Shane Lowry. Like, it felt like on Friday, Hideki Matsuyama shot a 7 under 63 and charged up to 4th on the leaderboard, and everyone was like, all right, like Decky's going. And then Sunday came around and just no one was holding putts. And Shane Lowry had 4 lip outs. He lipped out on a second putt on 18. So he 3-putted, and it gave it Sepp an easy 2-putt from 4 feet to close it out. Sepp Straka had maybe one of, if not the best stroke game putting weeks of his life this week. I said going into Sunday, Rick Gemmon, who is another member over at CBS, did some ESPN bet stuff this week. He has a whole thing where he has his emojis for who he likes. It's his brain, his heart, and where the money is. I said my brain's telling me Sepp, my heart's telling me Shane, but the money's going to go to Sepp. And I cashed in on Sunday with a big win from Sepp Straka. Only Rory McIlroy is a multi-time winner on tour this year. 2 really interesting names to be able to go side by side. He jumps all the way up to 2nd in the FedEx Cup standings. He's also now, for the first time in his career, top 10 in the world. I think he moves up to 7 or 6 in the OWGR. I'll double check that for clarity. He's now, and Data Golf has not updated yet, or have they? And I'm just crazy. He's now 9th in the world, and Shane Lowry is 10th. So both of them jumping up into the top 10 of the world. Shane, gutting loss. Sepp let him in. He had two bogeys halfway through the front 9, and Shane just couldn't get it back. Yeah, those are my main takeaways from the week. And then, of course, like we had mentioned already, guys want golf in the Northeast more, and they want to experience it more.
I do have a take on Sepp's win too.
Let's
That
hear it.
may sound stupid, but I genuinely believe Sepp won this event on Thursday.
Well, I mean, look,
not because of everything he did afterwards, but Thursday shooting a 63, he gave himself enough leeway to a degree going into the rest of the week, especially on a Friday when it was raining. He gave himself enough room and margin for quote unquote error to be able to kind of adjust to what the course was giving him. But the fact that he shot so well on Thursday with that 63 gave him that breathing room the rest of the week to be able to kind of adjust his game depending on how the course was playing.
Yeah.
And seeing his scores as the week went on, like he got closer and closer to par as the weekend, turned to Saturday and Sunday. But I genuinely believe that 63 on Thursday is a main factor in why he walked away as the winner, because he shot so well on the opening day.
Yeah, I mean, look, anytime you shoot a super low round and you can set yourself up for success on Thursday, you're going to be able to thrive. I mean, Keith Mitchell shot 61, 67, and then back-to-back 71s to round out the weekend. Denny, who shot an opening run 62, 73 and 74, he basically gave up his entire first round lead. Ricky, back-to-back 69s on Saturday, Sunday, but a 71 to go 1 over in round 2. That sort of blew him up. You notice everybody around Sepp Straka shot a 70 at some point, or multiple 70s. And like Shane Lowry, right? 64, 65, 67. That's 70. He just didn't hold putts. He shot even par, and he lost himself the event by 1. I mean, or by 2. Had a really great shot to put up some really good numbers. The only other guy who had a really crazy week and that was up and down and really pushed himself. I mean, Patrick Cantlay, he had a 70 in round 3, but a 65 in round 4, 65 in round 1. Managed to really climb up the leaderboard and get all the way up to 4th. Matsuyama's 63 between 2 bookends, 72, 73 is insane. Justin Thomas, who by the way, we don't talk about this. Shane Lowry lips that putt out. Justin Thomas made a lot of money this week thanks to one centimeter of a missed putt. But JT, only other guy in the field to shoot 4 straight rounds in the 60s, not named Tommy Fleetwood and Sepp Straka. Just molds of consistency this week. 66, 67, 66, 67, like back to back to back to back. Just kept on grinding through. So anytime you could shoot 4 rounds in the 60s is a really good and telling sign. Sorry, there were other guys in there who shot multiple rounds in the 60s. Berger did it. Schauffele did it. Rory as well. But anytime that you could shoot a 63 to open up and then get bad weather and still shoot 3 under in the bad weather and then you coast, that's a huge win for Sepp Straka. We're going to take a short break. On the other side, we have an awesome interview with New York Bluebirds captain Abe Candelaria. He's going to join in and stop in with me. We'll chat all things Grass League and how things are churning with the Startup League. We also have our Quail Hollow preview and our beer money picks. So don't go anywhere, folks. For KB, I'm Steve-O. Right here in the Underground. We will be right back.
Get in the Hole is brought to you by PHI Apparel Company, our incredible merch partners. PHI Apparel Co. provides unique designs and high-quality clothing from t-shirts to hoodies for every golfer around. With their original designs for all, there's no doubt you'll stand out on the course, the driving range, or at the 19th hole. Go to phiapparel.co and use code UNDERGROUND at checkout for 10% off any order. That's code UNDERGROUND at phiapparel.co and grab exclusive Get in the Hole podcast merch and support your favorite golfers.
Hey, everybody, welcome back into Get in the Hole. This special interview is brought to you by Acorn Hills, our favorite merch partners, who are changing clothing through conservation, offering eco-friendly packaging, materials, and clothing tags on styles that you will love. Get ready for the summer drop coming on June 2nd and use code GITH15. That's Get in the Hole 15 for 15% off your next order at acornhillsco.com. Look your best from the ground up. Really special interview that I get to sit in on here. Abe Candelaria, the captain of the New York Bluebirds. Abe, thank you so much for coming on. Appreciate you joining me.
Yeah, really looking forward to talking with you and talking Grass League and everything New York Bluebirds.
Yeah, I'm dying to hear the story first and foremost. Former college athlete, didn't pick up a golf club until your mid-20s. I mean, I've been playing since I was a little kid, and I still suck, and yet you are a plus handicap. How the hell did that happen?
Yeah, when I was done playing baseball, I wanted to fill my time with something, find something competitive to do. And I thought, why not golf? I was fortunate enough to meet the Summerhays family, Bruce Summerhays, Boyd Summerhays. And that was my introduction to golf, was by the way of them. And so once I met them, I started working with them, learning a little bit about the golf swing. I entered into my first golf tournament 3.5 months after picking up a club. It wasn't great, but it was a lot of fun. And, it just gave me that itch and that competitive drive to say, what, I want to get better. I don't want to get beat playing this game. So let's figure it out.
Now, the transition over, you were a baseball player out in Utah. You went to college basically in the heart of Utah golf down in St. George's. What was the desire to get into golf, aside from linking up with the Summerhays family, of course, like golf royalty? They go all the way down. I mean, I've been following Preston now at Arizona State, now into his pro ambitions. Like, were they the inspiration to get into golf? Was it family? Was it just a desire to pick up something that wasn't a bat?
Yeah, so right, I think it was a little bit of everything. My family did not play any golf. I did go to a golf course for the first time with my dad when I was a young kid. We went, I believe I was 16. We went to Tiger's Invitational at Riviera.
Okay.
So I'm originally from Southern California, and obviously seeing Tiger, that was kind of cool, but nothing came of it after that. I actually had a hand surgery that sidelined me in the off season with baseball. So when I met the Summerhays family, they were like, hey, why don't you come out to the golf course? Why don't you just learn how to chip and putt? And Bruce taught me how to chip and putt, and the rest is kind of history, man.
That's a pretty cool teacher to be able to get you going in your golf career.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah, so like I'm curious. The predominant reason why we're having you on is Park Grass League, and I'm curious about the process. Right, I was talking to our CEO Kyle recently, and he's gotten more into golf. I've been a lot more into the game for a long time, but this kind of came up on kind of blindly on everybody last year. I discovered it on Instagram. I was interested in just what it was, and there were a few LPGA pros, there were some pro golfers, some amateurs like yourself, and I kind of got enamored by it. It almost felt like it was live golf with the music and the vibe and atmosphere mixed with like TGL and a new kind of style of how to approach the game, and all through the idea where I grew up playing par 3 golf. It's where I learned how to play the game. I was way better with my short game and my short irons than I was anything else growing up. So, how did you get involved in the league? How did you find it? I know it's based right around the corner from you in Tempe.
Yeah, so the initial go around with the GCO, which is the Grass Clippings Open, was last April. And I got a phone call. It was from the Lazaros, and they said to me, "Hey, listen, we want you to be a part of the New York Bluebirds. We know you're an accomplished golfer. What do you think about this par 3 golf?" Now, when you think about like what this is, right? It's the idea that you take the driver out of the hand and it really equalizes the playing field. So you can have amateurs, you can have touring professionals, you can have, any type of player, right? That can play at a high level, enter into this and play and represent a franchise. So with the GCO, the cool part is we now have a draft. So we had 2 rounds of a draft. Our New York Bluebirds, we had the second overall pick and the 21st pick towards the end of the second round. And there was 104 teams that played in a qualifier, 18-hole qualifier. We took the low 25 teams. And then out of those 25 teams, 22 of them were selected by franchises. So it's inclusive from that standpoint that there is an open qualifier to get into the GCO. Then you land on a franchise. And it's really open for anyone to play. And that's kind of the cool thing, right? Is like it's inclusive. Like you said, it's a spinoff of TGL, but a little bit more of the live side. We have a lot of live music going the entire time. Man, it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, in doing research and learning about the beginnings of it, I recently read an article through Golf Digest talking about the owners of the golf course and how they wanted to approach something and make it new. And I think the beauty of par 3 golf really does come down to the idea that it does make everyone equal. I've lost to friends who are 25 handicaps, and I'm at 13 right now. Like it's once you get onto the par 3 golf course, and it's just you got 120, 130 yards in. Every single shot matters that much more. And I love the concept of the high stakes par 3, right? It makes things that much more exciting because think of it like in PGA golf, right? You go into a playoff and it's sudden death, and yeah, you can have one bad drive and you're automatically out of it. You put somebody 120 yards in the pin, 2 guys who can, you don't know what's going to happen. The opportunities are absolutely endless. What would you say has been the most interesting part of being able to be a part of something like this in year 1, now going into year 2, as it's expanded to such a larger scale?
Yeah, so for me personally, I think the coolest part is like I feel like in some ways I'm playing baseball in front of 10,000 people, right? There's a lot of people, there's a lot of energy, there's a lot going on in the background. It's not just golf, but everyone is there to see golf, if that makes sense. So it's fun from that standpoint because it's not like the boring, mundane round of golf that's taking, 5.5, 6.5 hours. Like we're playing par 3 golf course. It's the longest hole at Grass Clippings is 180 yards, right? And then the other holes, to your point, are all just flip wedges. So you're playing relatively quick. And yeah, man, it's incredible. It's like the World Series of Poker in some ways. It's like it's
Yes.
mixed the NBA, the NFL, and the World Series of Poker with the high stakes par 3 golf. But one thing I will say that it's hard to see on TV, when it's televised is a lot of these greens are very undulated. So it's not always that, it's 120 yards downhill or uphill and the green is sloping from front to back. I mean, some of these greens have 2 and 3 tiers to them. So like this past event, I mean, the greens were rolling about 13 and a half on the
Oh,
stem.
wow.
So to give you an idea, I mean, that's fast. You're talking PGA Tour type greens that we are fortunate enough to play on. And it just makes for an exciting, atmosphere.
Now, how does that change competitively? Because of course there are both amateurs and pros, but also a wide-ranging group of handicappers and people who are either really good. I mean, everyone's quality when you play. I mean, some of the names just off the bat that you see when you see it, you're like, wow, like how are these guys playing in this event? But as someone like you, right, you're a +2, +3 currently.
Yeah.
So comparing yourself as a +3 to even just a scratch golfer or maybe a one handicap playing in this sort of field, how does that change kind of things with the fact that you're playing on such challenging greens? Is there an advantage to some? Is there a disadvantage to others? What's some of the challenges when it comes
Well,
to even being as good as you are?
yeah. So, I mean, I'll say this, right? A plus handicap is better than a scratch.
Yeah.
So, right. Everyone's generally a plus handicap that's playing. We do have some cool YouTube influencers, some social media influencers that get in there and they move the needle, which is cool, right? Like Good Golf is
Mhm.
part of this. They own the Dallas Horsemen and they have their own invitational that they put on at Grass Clippings. So I really think though, with it being par 3 golf, the playing field is just so even that you don't see a huge difference, if anything. I mean, all of us, even at my level, I mean, we're playing in some of the biggest events in the country, in the world. We're playing in invitationals. Like, this is what we do. I mean, we play golf, man. So I don't think it's one of those things, right, where there's a huge difference in one guy versus the next. And with the scramble format, which makes it pretty intriguing, um, you got to have someone that wedges it well, and then someone that putts well.
Now, let's get this celebrity bit because I think it's a fascinating piece that only adds to the allure, right? And this goes far beyond the guys who are playing. Of course, there are members of Good. Michael Block was actually playing this week at
Yeah.
Quail Hollow for the umpteenth time, is getting to get a crack at it. But also the ownership groups that are involved. You mentioned in New York, the Lazaros, the founder of Golf.com. You have Dave Roberts, who I don't know. Are you a Dodgers or an Angels fan?
Yeah. So I grew up an Angels fan, but I had an uncle who played for the Dodgers. So listen, we're good with the Dodgers. Dave Roberts is fine. Like we don't need to create a bigger rift between New York and LA. But I like where you're going with it.
But I love the fact that there are such interesting ownership groups and people who are at varying levels of the golf community, from big time CEOs to PE companies, all the way down to those creators. Wyndham Clark being involved out in San Diego with Mark Wahlberg at Municipal as well. How awesome is it to know that you have the backing of such powerful and intriguing individuals, where this isn't going to go away. This is going to continue to grow, and it's going to become something that's way bigger than just a simple par 3 tournament. You guys have been picked up by Peacock for streaming. I had mentioned to you pre-show, Brandon Bill's getting involved in an apparel deal, Unreal as well. So there's a lot of backing to this.
Oh yeah, and I mean, right, when you have that type of backing, you have that type of money, you know that this thing is going to work. And
Mhm.
yeah, there is a comfort level that comes with it, right? Because we as players, we're putting a lot of time and energy into this, and we want to know that there's a return for it on our end. So listen, having the ownership group the way that we do from all different walks of life, right? It makes it that much better because they can bring their expertise to the league
Mhm.
and make it even greater than it is right now. And that's the best part, right? Is the power in numbers. And I can speak specifically for Mike and Cass with the Bluebirds. They're fantastic. I mean, they're awesome, right? Like they started and founded golf.com. They know golf, they know what they're doing. They're fun to play for because what a lot of people don't realize is like our ownership group is highly competitive.
Okay.
So, I'll get a text from Cass. I'll get a correspondence from her trying to pump me up and saying, we got to go. Like, it's now or never. So it's a lot of fun getting to be a part of it with them and being partners. So yeah, it's awesome.
Now, like, what is your commitment when it comes to grass league? What are the expectations? How often do you play in tournaments? Of course, you have a full-time job outside of this. What's your how often are you playing? What's your schedule like? Of course, Grass League had their first event just a couple of weeks ago, and there's going to be a summer series as well as a final later on in the year. But aside from that, how often are you playing for them? What's the promotion like? How do you go about working with the group?
Yeah, so we play in grass league sanction events only with the New York Bluebirds. And then outside of that, I play in about 22 to 29 events a year. So I'm playing still a lot of golf outside of the grass league. My personal commitment with the Lazeros is we work in partnership, to get players, sign them, make introductions, things like that. So my role is a little bit different than just a player. We joke around a lot. There's that player captain type deal, and then I got to go out and sometimes, do my part and bring these players on, get them excited about the grass league and what that entails. So for me, this is an all year type of deal. For the guys that only play in the grass league, you're only looking at 3 events per year, but the week leading up to the event, the week of the event, you're pretty much locked in and you're doing everything with your franchise and the ownership group.
So are you involved in long range scouting trips? Are we expecting some of the top amateur golfers out of college coming to Grass League soon?
Yeah, we'll have some big names that keep coming through. There's a lot of people we talk to all the time. I mean, this is getting so much traction. And like you mentioned, right, with the deal that the league has with Peacock and the Golf Channel, there's a lot of eyes on this right now. Wyndham Clark's bringing a lot of good notoriety to it. And all the owners are, good golf, like we called out. So listen, I think this is only going to grow and become even bigger. And it's just a new era of golf, right? It's an alternative to what we're all used to, right? Where so many guys are used to, like, you got to go to the country club, you got to wear your khaki shorts, you got to tuck in your shirt, you got to do all this stuff. I mean, some franchises are playing in t-shirts, others are playing in Jordans. Some of our guys don't even tuck in their shirt. We're just come as you are and play really good golf. And it's awesome that the stakes are as high as they are.
Now, with that being said, what's your opinion on the modern game of golf and the as we're growing towards the more athleisure side of things, joggers on course, hoodies, stuff like that? Are you a lot more of a laid back guy? Is that your style?
Yeah, so I can appreciate tradition. I'm a big traditional guy, but I like the inclusiveness that golf is moving towards. And I like the idea, like I said earlier, right? Come as you are. Like, you don't have to be a country club kid or adult to feel like grass league or golf in general can work for you. So yeah, I like the idea of just being laid back. I mean, I don't wear a hat backwards or do any of that kind of weird stuff, but yes, I do wear joggers. Shout out to Primo, who's our apparel sponsor.
Oh yeah.
I've been with them for a long time. And yeah, I mean, they got the best joggers. We wear the joggers, the Bluebirds. So this past event, we wore blade collars where they're not traditional collars. They actually kind of look like what I have on now, but they're a golf shirt. So listen, I'm all for, just where golf is moving to and being inclusive.
When you started playing in golf and you eventually grew into this role, did you ever expect yourself to be kind of a trailblazer in growing the game of golf? I mean, we had mentioned how it's this cross of live and TGL, and those are just other avenues to get people more engaged in golf. I remember when TGL launched, I had coworkers who had never watched pro golf because they think it's like watching paint dry. And they're like, wow, like, I could watch a full scale event in a 2-hour window and really actually appreciate it and enjoy it. And then on top of that, just getting more eyes and people involved in the game. You might watch Grass League and say, hey, like, this might be something that I want to jump into. What does that mean for you as to be somewhat of a trailblazer in this space to be able to bring more eyes to the game and hopefully get people more involved?
Yeah, for me, right, it's about bringing a new community to golf. And I didn't have the ability as a young child to play golf. Golf is very expensive, and
Yep.
there's a lot of kids, there's a lot of adults, right, that can't afford to play golf. And if we can be a small part of changing the fabric of golf, where par three golf courses come back, lower green fees come back, people understand water conservation and how golf courses are only taking up 1% of water, right? We have all these notions of what golf is and kind of the people that play golf. But if we can get to a point where, even young kids look at me and say, hey, I look like Abe, I can
Yeah.
do this. That's what I want this to be. And I definitely want kids in the inner city to aspire to get into the game. And as you know, right, being on the East Coast, being in Philly, like, it's the elite of the elite play golf.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, great athletes are now starting to play this game and get really, really good at it. So why not open up the door so that more kids, more people, the population can grow, and we can get more people involved with golf?
Unsure if you're able to share these kind of details, but does the Grass League have any plans to do that side of charity work to grow the game that way?
Yeah, we're definitely looking at aspects to grow the game. Don't have all the details right now, but that's definitely going to be a huge part of what we do. We have some ties with the Thunderbirds out here in Phoenix, and that is what they do, right? Everything is based on charity. So I would expect in due time we will get to that point, and that's something that I believe in wholeheartedly, and I think will be really, really good for the league and everyone involved in golf.
And on top of that, with the possibility of expansion, we already know this is here to stay. This will be successful. Could you possibly leak any hints at possible future sites? I know we're very early in year 2. We've only got a draft and a tournament down, but is there any plans from the league to expand into some other major cities? There's already a ton of great spots, but there's a lot more to cover.
Yeah, right. I think you're going to hear some stuff hopefully this year. I can't talk too much about where it's at, but yeah, the expansion is coming. There's a lot of people excited. A lot of people want to get involved, and I think where we go next will definitely make a splash for sure.
I have a couple of rapid fire questions before we let you go, just to kind of let the people know what you're all about and get to know the Abe Candelaria. It's funny, I was trying to do some research on you, and it was so hard to find you, and I'm like, what can I figure out about this man? So 10 questions for you. I'm curious on your thoughts of things. How many pillows do you sleep with?
Say that one more time. You cut out.
How many pillows do you sleep with?
Just one.
If there's one country that you can go to that you haven't been to, where would you want to go?
Anywhere in Asia. That would be
any sort of idea? Any specifics?
anywhere in Asia. Let's say Thailand.
What's your go-to drink or coffee order if you have one?
So I'm not a big coffee guy. A lot of people know that about me. It's kind of weird. I just like drinking water when I wake up in the morning. I'm pretty simple in that way. Yeah.
What is the best and worst club in your bag?
All the clubs are good, man. All of them. All of them. There's none of them that aren't.
What's the go-to song to get you hyped up before you play Grass League?
Oh man, it's a wide range. I love country music. That'll surprise a lot of people. Love country music. Love Rod Wave.
Okay.
Yeah, stuff like that. Lil Wayne has always been something that I've listened to, so always can go back to Lil Wayne. Yeah.
Who are your top 3 country artists?
Oh man, now you're putting me on the spot. That's tough. That's tough. We'll have to answer that at the next one.
All right, sounds good. If you don't listen to him at all, I'm the biggest John Party fan on earth. He's a California guy.
Yeah. I like John Party. I'm not gonna put him in my top 5, but I like John Party. For me, I like to so I listen to a lot of music. I get a lot of music on my phone, And I like to just sort it by genre and then hit shuffle and then kind of let Apple Music kind of tell me the mood I'm going to be in.
Oh no, that was the next question I was going to ask you. Apple Music or Spotify? You're one of the Apple folks?
Yeah, I'm a big
tough.
Apple Music guy.
Finally, last thing, if you can go back in time and have one mulligan, what would it be?
Honestly, I probably would have approached baseball with the same drive, competitiveness, and work ethic that I do golf. I feel like golf has been kind of like a second coming for me. I played baseball my whole life growing up. My dad played, everyone played, and so I think maybe I took a couple of things for granted there. But if I could have one mulligan, it'd probably be that.
If there's one life lesson that golf's taught you, what is it?
Probably that you don't know everything, first of all. You're always going to continue to learn and just be humble throughout the journey and throughout the process. There are a lot of kind people that do want to help you, and be okay with listening. You don't have to apply it all, but be okay with listening, and you never know how it can turn out and might get blessed in the long run.
Final question for you. Quail Hollow this week. Do you have a winner or a thought on who might win this week?
Listen, golf is weird and hard like that. Here's a fun fact. You said you couldn't find much about me. I don't watch golf on TV. I only watch the majors. But with my ties to Utah, obviously I'd love to see Finau play well. So
We love Tony Finau.
Listen, if he's playing good, everything's right in the world.
Caught Tony Finau this week. I was out in Philadelphia to cover the Truist. He was hanging out with Jordan Mailata of the Eagles. Those two guys, first of all, they're gigantic. And I'm a shorter guy. To see these two, they're towering over me. I'm interviewing Tony. I'm like holding the mic up to him. I'm like help me. Abe, thank you so much for coming on, man. We really appreciate it. Good luck with the Grass League. Hope to see you out in New York. Have you ever been to New York?
Yeah, so funny story. It's kind of weird, right? I'm with the Bluebirds. My parents, so I'm Puerto Rican. Both my parents are Puerto Rican, came from Puerto Rico. They grew up in New York. So my dad's
Awesome.
Brooklyn, my mom's Queens. Crazy tie-in that I'm with the Bluebird franchise. So yes, been to New York several times. And next time I'm out there, we'll have to connect for sure.
Yeah, totally. Looking forward to it, man. Keep on bringing the Bluebird energy. Love how week one we get the big win. Hopefully we get a championship. Thanks, Abe. Appreciate it.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you.
Awesome.
Subscribe to Get in the Hole Pod.
Welcome back in, y'all, to Get in the Hole. KB and Steve-O here. Totally forgot to even go through all of our ad reads and everything else. So I want to give a shout out to all of our awesome ad partners. I want to start out with 47 Brand, who not only did they kill the game when it came to having their hats set up in the Truist merch tent for the TGL, which was a really nice touch, but also just to be able to have such an awesome brand alongside us as we continue to grow our brand. 47 setting you up with all the best, not only hats, but also apparel from on and off the golf course, setting you up from the first hole to the 18th green and beyond. Check the link in our description. Free shipping when you create an account at 47 Brand. Again, link in our description to get shopping today. Also, got to shout out the Paramount Plus team, the awesome show that they put on with the Truist this past weekend as a signature event. Paramount Plus is getting you the best in all sorts of media. I literally came home today I sat down, threw on Paramount Plus, and I just wanted to grind out Dexter. I've been meaning to start it, and I finally got around to doing it. So you can watch Dexter. You can watch a bunch of other new and old shows alike. We talk about it on the show all the time, how we can go back and manifest the good old days with Nickelodeon and watch Danny Phantom and everything else, SpongeBob. You can get all of that on Paramount Plus. Check out the link in our description to get watching today.
New season of the reboot of Criminal Minds is out now.
Hell yeah. Actually, you know a show that I've been meaning to watch. So not a sponsor, but I've been watching The Pit on Max, and Kay really wants to get into house, and she goes, I don't love that show. And I'm like, why? He goes, because every single time and every single episode, whoever walks in the door and they have to figure out what it is, he always goes, it's lupus. And I'm like, that's actually that's the funniest shit I've ever heard in my entire life. Another show that I need to watch. I've also got to start Breaking Bad, which has been like my biggest problem.
Also on Paramount Plus right now is the whatchamacallit, the 1923, the Yellowstone spinoff.
Yes,
that's back out.
His
now on
parents
Paramount
love
Plus.
Yellowstone. I haven't gotten into it yet.
All the episodes are now streaming on Paramount Plus. So
incredible.
Definitely. Plus Mobland, great show. Whole bunch of stuff has just dropped.
There are so many shows that I need to get into. I need to watch Mad Men. I need to watch Breaking Bad. I need to watch
Sonic 3 now on Paramount Plus as well.
Hey, Sonic in the same universe as Mario, which is also in the same universe as the Olympics, which is also in the same universe then as Nazi Germany.
Which is also in the same universe as the PGA Tour, because we had PGA golfers in the Olympics.
Was Eggman teaming up with Hitler in the 40s, you think?
I hope not, for Eggman's sake.
Yeah, it's a bad side to be on, right?
That would be horrendous.
What won the war for the Allied powers? Oh, just Sonic the Hedgehog.
A bunch of gold rings.
And Mario just hitting bricks.
Chaos Emeralds.
Oh my god, dude! Don't get me started about the old video games. Also, by the way, also on Paramount Plus, Rocket Power. We were talking about it on.
Yes.
Actually, you and I were literally running the gamut about all the different things.
You were blown away by how I just had a endless wealth of knowledge of old school cartoons.
Doug, Chalk Zone, the Proud Family. You had everything just stacked.
Wizard Kelly must be in shambles right now that the Wizards fell out of the top 3 of the NBA draft lottery.
I'm Wizard Kelly.
Wizard Kelly says,
you can't see his head.
Trudy!
Oh,
Wizard Kelly got new shoes at the mall.
I want to give a shout out to Abe Candelaria. A great interview with Abe. Really excited to see what the New York Bluebirds can do. They obviously won their first event in the Grass League. And just Grass League in general starting to blow up. New sponsors getting involved in the brand Unreal and branded bills on the apparel side. Then they're now sponsored by Troon, the golf management company, which is awesome. We got to make a trip out to Scottsdale one day to get in touch with the folks at Grass League and go and attend some stuff. Apparently the course they play out there is just sick. So
yeah, everything I saw from the broadcast and like highlights and stuff that I was able to catch, it looked sick. I'm big proponent of night golf, big proponent of the Grass League. It is so sick, and we just need a team in Philadelphia now, boys. Let's get this stepping.
Well, so actually, you just laid up the next segment here. Want to talk some not breaking news, but some breaking news that we got a hold of this weekend. New TGL trademarks coming in the Chicago and Michigan markets. It's funny, we talk Grass League, right? Like there's already there's the New York Bluebirds and then the New York Golf Club, and the logos look the exact same. And now there's apparently a Michigan team, and there's a Michigan team in Grass League. I wonder if the logos are going to be anything of the same. We'll see.
Texas was also filed.
Yes, Texas was also filed. So we have 3 new ones to look out for. So what do you think?
We were on the Texas train for a while, dating back to in season. With this year's season of the TGL, we said we were shocked kind of that Texas wasn't a thing. And one of the episodes Ben and I hosted, we said like the more of like the facilities that you build, I guess, where they play in different areas, the cooler I think the experience could be. And we said Texas could be one of those places. Arizona could be one of those places. Somewhere in the Northeast to be one of those places. And I think if you're going to put one of these in Texas, you have to build the facility there. I think it just makes too much sense. A Dallas group was planning that total investment of $77 million. What does that mean? Shout out Luca. But On top of that, this is from Sports Business Journal on May 9th, so just a couple days ago. It says, beyond the trademark filings, one source said expect involvement from Golden Knights owner Bill Foley and a Las Vegas team. The same source pegged team valuations around $75 million.
Yeah. So, and we got word also that Dallas franchise was roughly 77 million. So that's
Correct.
kind of we're tapping into understanding. All right, what is the valuation of these teams, and what is it going to take to get teams there? I mean, I don't really
So
know.
that could be the 4, because we were talking about it this week too, where it's like there's 6 right now. 4 takes you to 10. That potentially leads you to creating conferences or divisions or whatever. So if you did bring in Vegas, and the trademarks that were filed, according to Sports Business Journal too, which I believe they broke the story, if I'm not mistaken. It is Chicago Lynx Golf Club and Texas Golf Club, and then earlier in the week they filed for Motor City Golf Club, which would put them as Detroit's team.
Yeah, so some really interesting stuff. I think that it's quite obvious why Dallas and Chicago are included. Detroit's interesting because and we talked about this on the show weeks ago. Like a Dallas team pops up, right? Who's going to be on this team? It's going to be Jordan Spieth. It's going to be Will Zalatoris. It's going to be Scotty. Like there are names that just immediately make sense, right? I don't really know. There's not a lot of golfers that are from the Midwest, like Chicago and Detroit. But what we have seen, right? Detroit growing market when they moved to the Rocket Mortgage Classic in Detroit, got a lot of attention, got a lot of interest. So it is a growing market. It is something that's to look out for. I'm curious who they would peg for those teams, but when you look at the guys and the groupings who are out there that are potential adds to the league, I mean, you look no further than our winner this past week, Sepp Straka, immediately rings the bell. Corey Connors is on there. Tony
Corey
Finau's
would make a lot of
for
sense
team.
for Michigan.
That's
because obviously being Canadian, the Canada-Michigan border is there.
Yeah.
I think Michigan, you could see a lot of Canadian guys end up on that team.
Like, yeah, there's a lot of guys who just make sense. Like I said, Corey Connors, Sepp Straka fits the bill right now. Tony Finau, who made an appearance with LA, and who knows, there could also even be trades involved, right? Like Tony Finau, a Utah guy, but probably would end up being on the Vegas team if he goes there. Or I said Finau fresh going to LA. You can move somebody out of there like a Fleetwood, and you can put him somewhere else. Out of LA. Siwoo Kim could very well join the ranks, be another Asian golfer with Hideki Matsuyama in the fold. Sunjae Im could fit. Sam Burns is an interesting play. He's obviously a Florida guy or a Louisiana guy. So there are a bunch of names and guys who fit. Akshay Bhatia also fits. He's also a California guy. Could go to Vegas or push somebody out in that regard. So Victor Hovland as well. So there's a lot of names that could easily pop up that give you top flight.
Is Adam Hadwin in the league?
He is not.
He could be another Michigan one with the Canadian connection.
Yeah. So I mean, Nick Taylor I'd probably tab first because he's the better overall Canadian player. Not to say that that's necessarily what they're looking for when they are creating where everyone goes, but it's certainly a point of contention to think about.
I know we didn't bring it up really, but Billy Horschel, obviously speedy recovery to the boy. How long is he going to be out for?
They said months, so he'll probably end up being back in time August, September.
Okay. I didn't know if he was going to be out TGL wise, because I was going to be like, if he's out for TGL, then Sepp Straka could take a spot as a Georgia guy.
Yeah, I mean, and I think colleges too is going to play a factor here in understanding who might fit. And again, there's even more guys that we haven't even mentioned that could also fit. Jason Day could be in the mix, and also like if they're having a really good year this year, who's to say that they wouldn't make a interesting like I don't want to say side character because that gives the wrong inclination, but like underdog sort of player. JT Poston's been really good this year. Matt McNeely's been really good. Spawn, Novak, those are guys who could fit the bill, and you can add in who have that like cult following that you want in this league. And There's going to need to be somebody to replace Kisner eventually. Someone who's going to probably replace Lucas Glover eventually as those guys get older. Taylor Pendrith has had a pretty good run as of late. He could also go up to the Canada team. So there's a lot of different guys. Sorry, the Michigan team. So there's a lot of guys who could definitely fit the mold. But I think these three markets certainly stand out as three that makes sense, particularly Dallas. It's the fourth biggest market in the world, in the country. How could you not put a team in that DMA?
Do you think we could see the Torbjornsens on any of these teams?
You mean the Højgaards?
Yeah, but I like to refer to them by the cooler name.
Michael Torbjornsen, who hit his drive 387 yards on Sunday. Well, Rasmus Højgaard has had a great year. It's funny. I was looking at doing the preview of the show, and it's crazy how Nikolai Højgaard last year had the monster year. He was in the Ryder Cup team at Marco Simone, and now it's Rasmus who's having a great year. It's kind of the tale of two cities for these two guys. So could be interesting to see them as well in the mix, but definitely could see Rasmus with the ways he's been playing as of right now.
Yeah, it'd be sick. I mean, like if you add 4 teams, because then you'd go LA, the Bay are on the West Coast right now, right? Those are the 2 West Coast teams overall.
Yeah. You add Vegas and Dallas, as well as
Dallas,
as well as honestly, it probably end up being Chicago would be your Western Conference, and then your Eastern Conference would be Jupiter, Atlanta, New York, Boston, Detroit.
Yeah, I mean you could do that, and then.
Personally, though, I think if you're going to have Chicago, you shouldn't have Detroit, and you should have Philadelphia. But that's just me.
I agree. I think also,
and that also isn't even bias. I just think Philadelphia's a better sports city than Detroit is.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I think they're like if you're not going to add Minnesota at the same time to kind of create like a similar like NFC North type situation where like you have Chicago, Detroit, and Minnesota all together,
and then Wisconsin.
Exactly. But I do think that, like, I wonder how expansion is going to be a factor. Like, say we do get the 4 teams this year with Vegas, Texas, Chicago, and Detroit. I wonder how they go about expansion after this. And is it another 4? Is it just 2? Like, how do they...
Let me pose a crazy idea. What if the expansion is 6? We know about 4 right now, but who's to say that we don't end up getting 6 and we get a team in Salt Lake City or Denver or Seattle and maybe the Carolinas and
Arizona.
Philadelphia? Like, Arizona. There's there's opportunities.
And then you do.
In a lot of different big, now you got to realize, right? Like, think about it, big golf cities. Denver doesn't really fit, but Denver has the backing because Kroenke fits perfect with the ownership groups that they want. Who's the guy we were talking about with Utah? Snyder?
Ryan Smith.
Ryan Smith. I keep getting Snyder in my head. I don't know why. Seattle could be a market of interest. You go to Arizona, that certainly fits as well. It all depends on DMAs, but there's no way you can't have Vegas, Dallas, and Philadelphia and Chicago, in my opinion, in this because they're going to be the biggest markets for you. But then you can get a little smaller and look at those microcosm cities that are golf-based: Scottsdale, the Carolinas, even Wisconsin. Wisconsin is one of the best golf states in the world. So there's a lot of opportunity to be able to grow. I wouldn't be surprised if they could manage to get 6 investors to get involved. They already saw how uber successful it was to just bring golf to a different stage. Now you can expand on it and make it even better. That's something that's really interesting.
They also, in the article from SPJ, speaking at SPJ's CAA World Congress of Sports 2 weeks ago, Tomorrow's Sports co-founder Mike McCarley said progress had been made on expansion and that he was, quote, pleasantly surprised at the number of bidders. McCarley also said TGL would likely start with 1 expansion team and then it'll grow from there. So it'd be 1. So I guess these 4 are kind of lining up for multiple years of expansion. McCarley said the expansion bid would come from North America. That's also interesting that potentially there's South America, Europe in play at some point. That's fascinating. TGL recently retained ProScour for the expansion process. Other pro sports organizations that have had representation at matches this year include the Minnesota Vikings, MLSE, the San Francisco Giants, the Ravens, the Capitals/Wizards, Penguins for Pittsburgh, and members of Ackerley Sports Group, the Seattle shop that has a stake in the Kraken, as well as Tomorrow Sports.
Shit. So yeah, there's a lot of room to grow. And I mean, hey, like, who's to say we don't get a gigantic league? And if we get the PIF back involved, what if the TGL expands to getting live golfers, and all of a sudden you get John Rahm back and you get Bryson back, and maybe we're gearing up for an international team. Who knows? There's a lot of different ways to go about it. We're pretty deep in the show. I want to keep things rolling here, but we go to Quail Hollow this week, aka Rory McIlroy Country Club, for the PGA Championship. Like we said already, Monday through Wednesday, heavy freaking rain projected in the forecast. They got over 4 inches of rain today. Talked to assistant pro Austin Hill. He was saying how it's been absolutely devastating to the golf course. We are also on the 1 year anniversary almost to the day of Scotty Scheffler going to get arrested. So that's pretty fun. Word on the street is that Scotty will be Ubering to every single tee time that he has this week to avoid everything else, or alternatively, his caddy will drive. And if he ends up getting arrested, he has somebody as a backup at the golf course. So Quail Hollow this week is going to be really interesting. Soft conditions on Thursday, most likely, with all the rain Monday through Wednesday. I am expecting this to be a bomber's paradise, and this is going to dig really well into our beer money picks coming up in just a second, because the way this golf course operates, right? It's a rather long golf course. It's a challenging golf course. I think what's going to make or break this week for a lot of the players when it comes to the overall layout of this golf course. You're dealing with a course 7,600 yards in length. It's a par 71, so it's stretched out with one less par 5. A lot of long par 4s, 450, 505. Where are we here? 529 on another one, 500 on a par 4 in the back on 18. This is a challenging golf course and a long one at that. So guys who can hit it really long and have a better iron in to the green is going to be a really, really successful opportunity. Guys who don't hit it very far are going to be hitting 4 irons in the greens, and it's going to be really challenging with the wet conditions and the soft conditions as well, because that ball isn't going to roll out. So when you look at the overall body of work too, I think it's a fascinating a challenge. And while yes, like we can easily talk about how it's going to be the Rory McIlroy Country Club. He's going to talk on Tuesday at 5 p.m. I'll probably be tuning into that press conference. I expect fireworks from a lot of guys in this field, and there's a lot of guys who I think are actually going to surprise you this week at Quail.
Yeah, it's going to be wild. I'm intrigued to see how the rain affects everything. I mean,
hey, and as a casual golf fan, you understood it now after watching it on Friday. You see how different it is and how challenging, how much harder it is, because those small things really do make such a graphic difference in the overall layout and scope of how you have to end up approaching these golf courses. Let's get right into the beer money picks of the week. KB, I'll let you take the honors.
Kenwood Beer, the official beer partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia. It's a refreshing light beer, just 4.1% ABV, 120 calories, just 8 grams of carbs. Go to kenwoodbeer.com. Use that Kenny Finder to see who's got Kenwood Beer on tap in the Philadelphia, New Jersey, Delaware, Pittsburgh, and Maryland areas. You can also find Kenwood Beer at your local liquor stores or grocery stores in those markets. No free shout outs to Giant Food Stores for supplying the Get in the Hole hotel room with Kenny's all week at the Truist. Again, that's kenwoodbeer.com. Must be 21 or older to do so. And of course, please drink responsibly. How was it, Steve, having Kenny's back in your system?
Well, considering I went toe-to-toe with Ethan, which, by the way, if you haven't watched yet, go watch the main pod episode for the past week. That shit was insane. It was so good.
That was a doozy of an episode.
Yeah, no, that was incredible. Had a lot of fun getting the Kennys back in the system. I'm going to have one probably after today, so I'm really looking forward to getting in on the action. A couple of things about Quail Hollow before we jump in. Shout out to the PGA Tour, because we still have access to PGA Tour media, so you can get all this stuff Oh, this is so great. Quail Hollow Country Club going into the week. The second longest golf course on tour this year, only behind Torrey Pines, about 100 yards less than Torrey Pines. Par 71, 76.26 is our yardage. There's not a lot of bunkers on this golf course, but that only just means that the length is going to be the challenge, and where those 61 bunkers, the fourth fewest on tour, are placed is really what you want to look out for. Think about it this way: like Augusta National has only 44 bunkers on the property. It's all about placement, and the length is what makes it so challenging. When you look at, it's a very similar sort of golf course. The weather is also a little bit similar because Georgia in April versus the Carolinas in May kind of sort of fits the bill to a degree. The green sizes are rather large. The way the grass is, it's actually a very different types of grass all over the course. There are 10 holes that have POA grass, which is an overseeded grass that makes the ball challenging to sit in. The rough's going to grow over time, but it's about 2.25 inch thick, so it's going to be quite thick this week, but not as thick as you've seen in other events. But yeah, lots of different things here to look out for. Driving accuracy is going to be really big. Driving distance is going to be huge, and just your ability to have approach game. If you're either short off the tee, how your long irons play, and if you're long off the tee, how you stay in the fairway and can have those short clubs in. So with that being said, KB, I give the floor to you. We're actually not doing a top 20 first. We are going to start off with a pick to make and miss the cut this week.
Ooh, boy. To make the cut, give me Max minus 130
To make or miss?
to make.
Perfect. And the miss?
To miss, I'm going to go with John Perry minus 150.
The fuck is that?
Exactly.
This is a layup question for me. I'm actually going to follow it in the shadow of Rick Gemmon on this one. He was on Dan on Golf today with Rappaport. Two simple picks. He gave a pick to make the cut. I'm going to give the pick to miss the cut. I'm going to go with Nicholas Norgard to make the cut. I know for a fact that you don't know who he is. He's one of the longest players off the tee on the tour. So that alone is just giving me the advantage here as my mom is FaceTiming me. Perfect. I'm also going to go Brian Campbell to miss the cut. The alternative to Norgard is that he's the shortest on tour off the tee. So right there, it's going to take a miracle and a half for Campbell to be able to get those long irons in and be able to maintain with the rest of the field with how they play overall. So I'll take Campbell to miss, and I'll take Norgard to make.
I almost went Brian Campbell, but for reference to John Perry, he's 11th in the DP World Tour standings, and in the Turkish Airlines Open this weekend, he finished tied for 33rd.
Interesting. Also, I want to point this out as well as a little factoid with making and missing the cut. Brian Campbell is the 185th ranked player on the PGA Tour in driving distance. He only hits the ball about 277 yards, which is crazy because I hit the ball 277 yards off the tee.
This guy John Perry also looks like Aaron Rodgers if he never did ayahuasca.
That's a scary sight. I want to now bring in really quickly my mother, Judy McAvoy, to give us her pick to make and miss the cut at Quail Hollow.
Hi everybody in podcast land.
Who's making and missing the cut, Ma?
Oh, I don't know who my choices.
You got 150 choices.
Tiger Woods?
Nope.
He could miss.
McAvoy.
Sure, Rory McIlroy is making the cut. All right, who's missing the cut?
Oh goodness gracious! I don't know.
Give me a name.
I don't know. Tiger Woods.
He's not in the field.
He's gonna miss it.
Anyway, I just wanted just called because I just watched your TikTok about, and you were interviewing someone, and I was just so proud of you. Good job.
Yeah, Andrew Novak. He's a guy. He's a fucking dude.
I love it.
Yeah, thank you.
So that's why I was calling.
Yeah, sounds good. We're gonna let you go.
All right.
Who's winning the Wanamaker this week?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to go with McAvoy because he's the only guy I know.
Well, it's okay because Rory McIlroy has won at this golf course 5 times in his career. It's the Rory McIlroy Country Club this week at Quail Hollow.
All right, guys. Enjoy your podcast.
All right, thank you, Jude. Bye-bye. There you go. Judy McAvoy taking Rory McIlroy to win at Quail.
Perfect plug. The Judy McAvoy voicemail line, speakpipe.com/getintheholepod. Leave us a voicemail if you want to get your thoughts off on anything going on in the world of golf. It's linked in the description, speakpipe.com/getintheholepod, the official Judy McAvoy voicemail line.
It's fucking incredible. Top 20 pick. Who you got this week?
Top 20. I am going with Tommy Fleetwood, Tommy Fleetwood.
The fan of Everton Football Club. He picked the wrong team, brother.
I'm going with Tommy Fleetwood, the first PGA Tour golfer to acknowledge my existence without me acknowledging them first. He is officially, I'm putting this on the record, officially my guy.
So I'm going to go with Sanjay Im here. I think the important thing to keep in mind when it comes to this golf course this week is bogey avoidance. This has been the year of the PGA Championship. I've always made fun of it as the 4th major amongst the big 4, as like the worst one of the group, but it really has like one of the best fields overall. It's actually the first event to be I think it's the highest rated field in tour history this go around, with just how good the players are this week. So I need somebody who's going to be able to avoid bogeys, make birdies, and just play par golf and get there. And if he can do that, he will thrive. Sanjay M plus 230 is my pick there. Top 10.
Tommy Fleetwood, by the way, he's plus 150 for the top 20.
You might hear about him later. Top 10, what you got?
My top 10, I am going with, I was really impressed by how he played this past weekend. I was impressed by how he played when he won recently. And at plus 200, I feel like it's good value. I'm going to go Justin Thomas.
I dig it. I like it. I'm actually going to go with somebody who had a surge on Sunday. Talk to him about what it's like going to Quail Hollow, how he has a lot of experience here, and how he felt with his body going into the week. I didn't get to ask him about the lofty expectations of playing in a major because our good friend Marcus Hayes got the last question in. But I'm going to go with Patrick Cantlay for a top 10 in search of that first major championship. I think it very well could happen here. If there's a golf course that Patrick Cantlay can dominate and play well at and just surge on the leaderboard, he hits the ball far. He has that really good short iron game and long iron game overall. He's one of the top 10 players in the field in strokes gained approach on the year, particularly over his last 24 rounds of golf. And the putter is really what's going to make him win this week if he does it. I like Cantlay to win. He's plus 300 for top 10, so I will take that. Top 5 pick.
I'm gonna parlay like I did this past week. I don't even remember
that you actually flopped on, by the way.
100%, but I like this one a lot because they're both plus money, and I feel like it would be stupid to not do this. Top 5 plus 120 and plus 105 for a plus 351 parlay. Rory McIlroy, Scotty Scheffler. Put it in the book, Steve.
You want to laugh? I thought you were going to go in a different direction because I like 2 guys. I'm not going to parlay them, but I do like 2 guys for a top 10. I would also argue them for a top 5 as well. Gut feeling. Don't know what it is. Bryson's had a really good run as of late in majors and rightfully deserved. He's had a chance to win 4 of the last 5 majors out in the field. And of course he won one of them. But there is one guy who doesn't get enough attention because he's on LIVGolf and he kind of is falling into the shadow when it comes to getting 2 major championships from Bryson DeChambeau, and that's Jon Rahm. Jon Rahm's finally come around on his majors as of late. He's finished in a much better spot in each of his last 2 majors. things seem to be turning around for him quite a bit. In his last 5 major tournaments, we go to the Open in 2023, finished second, 45th at the Masters, missed the cut at the PGA with a finish 7th and 14th at the Open in 24 and the 25 Masters. Prior to that, had a pretty bleak run of things, but he's finally starting to turn the corner, and that's really where I think Jon Rahm's going to thrive. He's played really well at Quail Hollow in his career in the past. This is a spot that he usually takes home some pretty good hardware. So I like Jon Rahm this week, and his approach around the greens has been absolutely phenomenal. He is plus 320 on the odds board for top 5. I would also consider DeChambeau here at a top 5 as well.
Jon Rahm's plus 360 on DraftKings.
Even better for me.
And if you like all 3 of our picks, because I feel like it would kind of be silly to not bet Scotty and Rory at plus money for a top 5, and you want to put Steve's plus 360 Jon Rahm in there, that's a 3-leg parlay to guess 3 out of the top 5 at plus 1974.
What would the odds be if I added Bryson? Because I might throw some pizza and beer money on that.
Plus 6,538.
Yeah, I might throw $1 or 2 on that, just for the hell of it.
Same. Why not?
I mean, hey, I've got $1,700 in the bank from the Derby. Why not?
And if you like Justin Thomas and the way he's playing, he's the 5th guy in the top 5. If you like that as the straight flush, like top 5 odds for top 5, it's plus 33,093.
Just make sure you bet that with ties, please.
1,000%.
Don't be silly and stupid. Before we get into our gimme and our winner, the ladder parlay of the week, who are you taking? I've crafted a monster winner for the people.
I think I'm going to go 4 Nations again. I went 2 for 4 on the 4 Nations parlay last week, so feel like I'm feeling a little good there. Looking at the board, I think I'm going to double down on the top English finisher as Tommy Fleetwood at plus 280.
Okay.
Your top Canadian, I think I'm going to tap right back into Corey Connors at plus 160. Top Asian, I'm going to go with Hideki at plus 260. And then I am going to go with... Where do I want to go? We're going to go Oceania, which is your Australia, New Zealand, and everything like that. I'm going to go Minwoo Lee at plus 330.
Oh, boy.
Which the only person in front of him is Jason Day at plus 300. Jason Day coming off of an injury, withdrew from the Truist, so don't know exactly how he's going to play, especially in would have been shite conditions to start the week and how the course may play coming off of an injury. And I think Minwoo Lee is going to be dialed in. That is a 4-leg, 4 Nations parlay plus 15,194.
That's insane. And
but it's also like not out of the question.
Yeah, and I wish you the absolute best of luck on that one.
That is a $1 bet to win $152.94.
I went 1 for 3 on my 3-leg parlay. But by the way, in terms of our overall numbers, you went 0 for the week. I went 2 of 6. So some good plays for me. I believe last week I hit on Novak top 20 and Fleetwood top 10, which were both some awesome plays. My ladder play, I'm going to go top 20, 30, 40. Top 40 pick, he is minus 115, the worst odds of the group here, Minwoo Lee for top 40. Plus 100 to Shane Lowry, get right week, right? Death, taxes, and Lowry finishing top 25 or top 30 in this case at a major. And Xander Schauffele, top 20 finish at plus 100. You can get that, parlay them all together. You get a 6.5 to 1 odds. So $10 wins you $65. Your gimme pick this week, who is the easiest layup that you can make?
Let's see, the gimme pick of the week. I mean, I feel like you gimme pick top 5, including ties, is Rory McIlroy plus 100.
All right.
You're getting Rory at plus money at a place where Steve just said he's won time and time again. To get him top 5 at plus money, including ties, is kind of crazy town. I like that a lot. That is a slam dunk gimme pick for me.
Yeah. I'm gonna go back to the well with a pick that you actually made earlier in the show. Top 20, Tommy Fleetwood. I don't need to give you a reason for why this guy is so good at what he does. And I truly do think that if there was a week that Tommy Fleetwood can win this event and get his first win. I asked him on Saturday, I'm like, hey, like, how do you feel about Sunday? And he said, well, you know what? If Fitz can win his first at a major, why can't I? So that right there just gave me the inclination. Tommy Fleetwood for top 20, and I think he can certainly do some pretty good stuff. Also, as we get into our winner of the Wanamaker at the PGA Championship, I'm just going to go ahead and give you my pick because it also feeds in well to who a gimme pick really is. I actually wouldn't take Rory for a top 5 as a gimme. I would rather do what's legitimately the gimme of the week. Rory McIlroy, his record at this golf course in his career. Now, granted, he's minus 190 for a top 10, but at Quail Hollow Golf Club, aka Rory McIlroy National, 4 wins, 10 top 10 finishes in 14 pro tournaments. His scoring average at this course is a 69.48, nearly a full shot better than the entirety of the field. He is 55 more strokes under par than any other player in the field at Quail Hollow. He finished T7. He said he didn't even play his best golf, and he still finished top 7 in a stacked field this week at the Truist. Rory McIlroy will win his 5th time at Quail Hollow. And I'm telling you right now, the minute he wins this event, the Twitter world is going to be flooding for the calendar Grand Slam. Everyone in the media was clamoring for it this week already. It's only going to be even more enhanced if he holds and hoists the Wanamaker.
I'm also going Rory at plus 500, but I also am adding something to my card this week that I also really, really fucking like this, Steve, and I think you're going to like it too. Rory to win parlayed with a top 5, including ties at minus 115. The baddest boy for life, Scotty Scheffler. 2-pick parlay plus 1,021 odds.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not sold on Scotty this week. He's had a 3-week delay. He won at the CJ. He didn't play this past week. He's going to go and play this event. I'm not sold on what Scotty Scheffler has done so far this year to immediately put him in the conversation. I mean, his approach play has been great, but his distance hasn't been the same. The putter has been good, but it's the around the green play that I've been questioning. And he's a lock to finish top 20. He's a lot to possibly even finish top 10. I just can't lock in a top 5 with how good some of these players are in the field. And I think if I was to give you a top 5 right now, definitively on who I think will finish in the top 5 names, my picks would be Cantlay, Rahm, DeChambeau, McIlroy, and Schauffele. That's like those 5 guys. They hit the ball far. They hit the ball strong. Scotty can do all the same things, but it's the putting numbers at the end of the day that really make up a lot of good voodoo and a lot of good juju for a lot of these guys.
That's why I said including ties.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying I'm going to be the contrarian and not take Scotty Scheffler because he still hasn't shown me this year, at least, what it takes to win. I think the CJ was a very modest win. It wasn't anything spectacular. It was at an incredibly easy golf course. He gained almost 5.5 strokes more total. That's higher than he has almost in his entire career at any event. So I can't immediately jump on the wagon here and say that one win is going to push him over the top.
I'm doing it.
Well, yeah, that's going to do it all for us here, guys. Great week. Once again, a really long show, but a great show as well. Glad if you tuned in with us the whole way through. This has been episode 204 of the Get in the Hole podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe, and follow on all of our socials at Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and beyond. And of course, here on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts, leave a 5-star review while you're here. Subscribe to all of our channels, and on YouTube at Underground Sports PHI, where you can get all of the content from across our channel in the golf world to F1, lacrosse, soccer, streaming, you name it, we got it. And of course, go check out last week's main pod episode. It was probably the best 2.5 hours in program history. KB and I talked all things dog show, talked the Phillies, talked a little good stuff when it came to the lacrosse world, what's coming for the Water Dogs. And of course, I lost to our intern Ethan beer for beer. He beat me 6-4 in a shocking development.
Subscribe to Get in the Hole pod.
That's also the clip of the week, by the way. Shout out to the kids for understanding the culture.
Shout out to the kids. Shout out to the kids.
Once again, thank you all for joining us this week, episode 204. We'll see you next week. Enjoy Quail Hollow. If I give you one bit of advice for betting, I want to point these three things out, and I will be surprised and shocked if they don't happen. Michael Block will miss the cut. Rory will finish in the top 10 once again, probably win. And Patrick Cantlay might shock you with his first major championship ever. Let's go. Thanks for listening to Get in the Hole, the official golf podcast of Underground Sports Philadelphia. Catch us every week wherever you get your favorite podcasts, and be sure to like and subscribe on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Get in the Hole Pod, and follow Underground Sports Philadelphia at Underground PHI. We'll see you next time. And remember, get in the hole!